Hello. We are going to talk about a very important symbol in the ancient Egyptian civilization, which is the Ankh sign. A lot of you call it key of life, but actually this is a very mistaken name. And let's talk now about the reason of having this symbol in our mythology and the ancient Egyptian civilization, and where it came from, what it stands for. First, let's talk about the other theories first, and then I'll come out with my own theory. The first theory talks about how this symbol shows Egypt from the top. So the top part of the Ankh sign refers to the delta of the River Nile, while the lower part of the Ankh refers to the River Nile itself, and this line in the middle refers to the eastern desert and western desert of Egypt. And it doesn't make sense for me at all, because simply the ancient Egyptian did not have satellites to see how Egypt looks like from the top. And the second reason is the delta of the River Nile had 7 branches on the top, not just 2 branches. So the whole theory is weak. The second theory talks about a sexual idea. So the top part of the Ankh refers to a female, and the lower part of the Ankh refers to a male, and there is a line separating between them. Having this sexual idea refers to multiplying, and they had an idea, or the one who came out with this theory had the idea that multiplying is sort of everlasting and extending the name of the person forever by having children and grandchildren, and this is a way to refer to multiplying to everlasting and eternity. And this also very weak, because the ancient Egyptians, they were very conservative, and they did not make any sexual scenes like that, or any scene refers to a sexual idea like that. And the third theory talks about the sandal that the ancient Egyptian used to use. So the sandal, the upper part of the sandal is the same shape of the Ankh. This is what the one who came out with the theory claims. This is the upper part of the sandal, while the sole of the sandal used to be made out of papyrus and did not last for long, and that's why they used to take the upper part of the sandal on a new sole, and then on a new sole, and then on a new sole, and then they took the shape of the upper part of the sandal as a symbol of everlasting and eternity. This very common among the Egyptology field, but actually it's very weak for me. But my theory talks about something different, which came out from the mythology and the religion of the ancient Egyptians themselves. My theory talks about how the ancient Egyptian believed the earth is flat. This is something very clear in the ancient Egyptian mythology. Earth is flat, and the sun comes every day from the eastern side and sets to the western side, and then shines on the underworld for the circle, or the half circle of the day on the underworld. Then comes next day from the eastern side once again to shine on the living side. So the sun then goes in a circle, half circle on the living side, and the other half on the underworld. And even they had a very good idea about the exact place where the sun shines, which is a place in Armenia called Tel El Amarna. And also they got a very exact idea about the place where the sun sets to start the journey to the underworld, which is a place called Abydos, where the journey to the underworld starts. Then the second part is God Honam, the one who creates the human out of clay. So the ancient Egyptian believed the human were made out of clay, so they had the same saying, ash to ash and dust to dust. And everyone was created by God Honam on a clay wheel out of clay. Then we will talk now about this symbol which called Sesh, which is the first symbol of eternity from the beginning of the history. And this Sesh sign refers to the Ta, or land, which is the way the ancient Egyptian used to write word land in the ancient Egyptian language. So we can see the straight line in the ancient Egyptian language means Ta, or land. Then this land, there is a line comes out. Everyone or everything was made out of clay, so everyone or everything comes out from this land and then lives his life, and then this circle ends back to the earth. So everything will be buried once again in earth. So this is the symbol of eternity from the beginning of the ancient Egyptian history, and we call it sesh. And from this symbol, the cartouche developed, and then they start making it as an oval shape and start writing the name of the king inside it, and we can see the straight line in the bottom, which is Ta or earth, and then the line comes out from the earth and goes around and then being buried once again in the ground. And then once the name of the god of the king written within this oval shape, it will be ever lasted, and it will be eternal. And then when we are looking at the Ankh sign, let's look at the top part of the Ankh sign. It's the same straight line we're talking about, which refers to earth, and then a line comes from the earth to be buried once again in earth. So the upper part of the Ankh refers to the circle of living on earth. So what do you think about the underworld? How the underworld will be like? It will be eternal. How they used to represent eternity with drawing, it will be straight line. So the straight line is the other part of the story. It's the other side, the underworld, how it looks like. Then the Ankh sign, it presents eternity all over the ancient Egyptian understanding, on earth and underground or underworld. And from this shape, then, we can see how the kings or how the gods holding this symbol in their hands because they're eternal, and then we can see how they hand this symbol close to the nose of the king or the queen to be healed, and then this king or queen will be eternal themselves. And all the time we can see how this symbol is flanked by two symbols of was, which is a symbol of power. Why is it necessary to have the power flanking the eternity? Because it needs superpower to be everlasting and to be eternal, and that's why power, it's necessary to make the eternity enjoyable and to make it a reward, not a punishment. And that's why all the time we can see the symbol of eternity combined and flanked by the two symbols of power. And later on they start to make it more extreme, and they start making two arms coming out from the Ankh to hold the symbol of power tied to it. And that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope it was useful for you. Do not forget, please, to subscribe for my channel for more videos like this.